Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. We're relaxing as per usual. I'm recording now because I'm going to be playing some D&D in ETA 20 minutes, aka perfect time to record an Animal Crossing. Do I know what's happening in it? Kind of. Like, it was actually a little bit strange. I was trying to buy some content packs. I've spoken about this before in D&D, but there's only so many monsters that come with a base D&D, and I'm like running out of like new interesting monsters necessarily to actually play, which, you know, is a bit of a shame, I'd certainly say, because we'll get to that in a second. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 7:12 PM on Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Remember 5th November, gunpowder, treason, and plot, for all you British people out there. But yeah, like, there's only so many monsters, and because, like, the campaign I'm running, like, the plot point is sort of heavily leaned towards both demons, which I think under traditional D&D terms would be aberrations rather than demons, as in, well, actually, I'm not sure what the exact definition of demons are, but, you know, I make a separation from, like, fiendish devil type creatures in one and then undead in the other. There's only so many undead, and the problem is there's not many high level undead. It kind of goes like most of them are like CR 3 or 4 or below, and then it goes suddenly, whoa, jump up to like vampire, like CR 12 or something, and then it jumps up to like lich at CR 21, and I'm like, okay, I need some stuff which are like CR 8, which are undead. But I'm like, there isn't anything in this pack in the base game, which kind of sucks, IMO. But, you know, I've put myself into a narrative corner, I suppose, limited by the restraints of the actual system itself. Now, on one campaign, it doesn't actually matter too much, because mainly the... is that Vivian or Amelia? We'll find out. There's not actually too much combat in one of the campaigns. They've... I mentioned it before, like, I had prepared combat, and then they've avoided it, like, almost every time by either, like, navigating or narrating out of it. But this other campaign certainly has a lot more combat in, but it's like, I feel like it's hard to make it super interesting, which, you know, is mainly because, like, it's hard to create something all that novel, I suppose, when it's like, well, I have very few things to even work with in the first place, so it's just kind of like, oh, this random monster appears, really. But, you know, some of it might be, some of it is definitely a restriction on me as a DM side. But yeah, at least the encounter that I'm planning for today, well, possibly planning, and it might not necessarily happen, depending how things go, should be, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It should be easy. Like, it should not be at all life-threatening. Like, I'd be surprised if any of them, like, take much damage or die at all. You know, they've had quite a few sort of like challenging-ish encounters before. This one, you know, from a DM perspective, like, it doesn't make sense for it to be that difficult, so that's why it's like relatively easy, but it's just kind of there for them to present an interesting, different sort of problem. And now I think about it, I'm not actually sure if I chose a very good monster for it. This is where we change things up a little bit, you know. We shift things over, because maybe this one probably makes more sense. That probably makes more sense. Wow, these are big. What on earth? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know these were so big. I'm gonna make them smaller, to be honest, because this is too big. IMO. And I'll probably buffer HP a little bit, you know. Make it a little bit tougher, but not too much tougher. They're not actually all that strong, I don't think. What do they use? Yeah. So this is the part which I think it's interesting, more so for the fact that it's a different encounter. Again, not meant to be all that difficult, but just meant to be different in a way. That's the intention with this one. But yeah, I don't know, the combat and counterparts don't super thrill me too much. I don't mind putting them in, obviously, to make people feel strong, or putting them in because they feel like climactic moments. I do like them. I think it's just more, so it's not that I don't like combat in D&D, it's just more that I feel like it's a bit restricted in this medium, you know? I simultaneously want everything to be taken care of, like, as if it was a video game, and I don't even have to think about mechanics as they come up. But obviously that's not possible. Foundry's doing its best, but it's not a video game. It's a tabletop thing. But it's also like I'm not comfortable with hand-waving combat enough to be like, okay, I'm going to improvise exactly what this weapon damage does, you know? Well, improvising conversations are very easy. Okay, maybe not very easy, but pretty easy most of the time for me. Improvising like lore tidbits it's a bit challenging, but it's not too bad. But improvising combat is sort of like because it's like the only real time where lethality is involved, apart from more extreme narrative moments. So it's sort of like I don't obviously want to just kill my players for no apparent reason because I just made up a number on the spot of how much damage something did. Even if that's kind of what you do for a lot of time for improvised damage. But yeah, that's just the woes of DMing is perhaps the way I'd put it. It's a complicated beast, and who knows exactly the best way to go about it. Yeah. Certainly, I think it doesn't help the fact that the narrative direction this one is taking, I think I mentioned before, but it was not the narrative direction I expected them to necessarily go in, but like I understand why they did. But obviously it's not what I had planned out for the arc, so as I said before, it's more like one of the arcs are sort of like being put on hold, and then the other arc is like, this arc is continuing. But this arc was meant to be like a very sort of new, like, because this arc was kind of meant to be like Act 3, like probably it's Act 3, Act 4-ish sort of territory, which essentially means that it was meant to be like quite a different, not change of pace necessarily, but it was meant to be something which came more independently of the other plot points. So there's not as much linking to the other things. So I'm sort of like, I don't really know what I'm going to do about this. We're going to have to figure this out. Anywho, what does that mean for me? I don't really know. It's just interesting things to think about, you know. I think it's just certainly a bit harder, you know, when you don't have as much time, I suppose, to deal with them, to plan these sort of things when you're busy. I have just thought of something else I need to do, and I realise I don't have time this weekend to do it, so I don't really know when I'm going to do it. So I'm not going to have time tomorrow. Obviously not going to have time today. I guess I'll have to do it that week. Oh, there's too much stuff to do. It's perhaps the way I'd put everything. Again, that one won't take too much time, but it will take probably an evening. I can't really do it on the weekend, that weekend. I guess I could do it when I'm back on Sunday. Because I'm most likely skipping this Sunday stream. I don't know, it depends what time I come back, but... And then I just sort of think, like, when am I going to have time to do the Animal Crossing thumbnail art? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I didn't want it to go on this long, but it's so hard to find time to do things nowadays, and it makes it quite a challenge, I would say. Anyway, yeah, like even more so, like the new Honkai Star Rail patch has come out. Like it's basically the epic conclusion finale to the Amphoria story, which I'm super looking forward towards because I love the Amphoria story, but I'm also like 3 patches behind in the main story because I've not really had time to go through and play it all. I want to, but it's hard to do things. You know, it's hard to find the time. You know, I haven't even watched like a lot of the recent Dropout episodes or anything. Yeah, so it's sort of like a when am I going to do it? I don't know. I need more time in my day. I need more hours in my day. But unfortunately, I only have so many. But yeah, I don't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. But it is just like I guess it is just a thing. At the moment. But yeah. Like all these games, which would be nice to play, but still. I would say I have started the next thumbnail art. it is going to be significantly easier, or it's more simpler than I expected it to be. Because I think I spoke about it before, but the actual like official splash art screen for it is very abstract and you wouldn't be able to see D at all if I did it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it like that. Let's do something different. And then I saw some like other screenshots. I was like, okay, we can make something, we can riff off this and make it like more interesting, like perspective, more interesting background. But when I looked at it and I was like, to be fair, it's a rather simple game. And I think it's more about the vibe, the sort of uncanny vibe, which we should be putting out, rather than necessarily making it like so extravagant. Because of the original pose I was going to go for, I was like, this seems to give off to me the wrong impression of its character. I don't know necessarily if that's true because I haven't actually recorded the first episode of it yet. But the character seems rather sort of serious, focused. And I'm like, I don't want it to change that impression. So it's a very, very simple thumbnail art, fortunately for me. But yeah, that's the one which is replacing a puzzle. What one is going to be replacing 1,000 times resist? I don't know. We still have probably at least 3 more episodes of 1,000 times resist, I think, so there's not too much of a worry there, I think. But yes. Oh, I'm pretty sure I know what's following on from 1,000 times resist. I just haven't drawn from that art already. Like, I'm just like, a lot of this stuff I need to do. That's okay. I'm gonna have a very fun time this weekend at least, and that's gonna obviously make up for all of it. So I don't know. I'm trying to think, because I think after I do this D&D session, I'm gonna record one episode, either of a new series, or I'm gonna do of 9 Souls, the other episode I need to record, and then yeah, no, it'll have to be both. I think it has to be the new series and 9 Souls. I recorded the Pocket Camp episodes. At worst, I could always record one of them tomorrow, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know. No time to do anything. I wanted to record it actually before I did D&D. Like, I would have recorded 2 episodes of a new series, but ended up not having time. And I would say it's because I was trying to buy some module packs for the Foundry to get some new monsters and that sort of thing. But the Foundry one, it rejected my card, and I was like, why? I was like, I guess I've never purchased from this supplier before, and it's also like I can only purchase in euros. So I was like, okay, let's go directly to the source of the creators. Like, I was trying to buy Kobold Presses, like Tome of Beasts or whatever it's called, because I was like, 400 monsters sounds pretty good. I know Kobold Press, I know they've got good stuff, why not? But then I went to the actual site and I tried to check out, and it wouldn't let me check out because I couldn't register for like a new account or anything, and it wouldn't let me put my details in. So I was like, it just was forever loading. Like, the form appeared and then it immediately disappeared and just was forever loading. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what I can do about that. And the answer is nothing. But still, it's like a, hey, you know? I will say though, the gacha games are going pretty well. Even though that Uma Musume's everything's sort of been turned on its head, the Champions meets have been going well. I think I've got like a 85% win rate, which is I think one of the highest win rates I've had in Champions meets in the first rounds. So I'm pretty confident I'll make it to Grade A finals. I think I have a decent chance of winning Grade A finals. I don't know if I will win, but I have a chance, is what I'd say. Yeah. What else? What else about? Star Rail, I pulled on the Cyrene banner. I got lucky, I won with 50-50. I got super lucky, I got a weapon extremely early. Sorry, I like her extremely early. And I had enough left over, but I was like, alright, let's try get E1 Hyacin, because that's what I wanted. I did, I won with 50-50, and I was like, alright, it is looking good. Xender Zone 0, won with 50-50, got a new character, Yadhari. Got an early Wenjin from her as well, so, you know, that's all going pretty well. Uma Musume managed to max out my nice nature, I would say. I did do daily pulse, and then I got another nice nature, and I was like, darn. I was like, I guess I didn't need to go that far, but, you know, whatever. Could have waited for a daily pulse to be over, but so be it. Now we're just counting down the days, which is, wait, is it tomorrow that the new banner comes out? Oh man. The new Rico banner. I didn't realise it was so soon. It is tomorrow. Okay. That's a new Rico banner, and then on the 11th of November, that's when everything's hitting the fan. That's when all the new changes come out. That's when I've been deciding like exactly what sort of strategy I'm going to use. For the next Champions meet, and that's been kind of fun. I've been replanning the team trials teams as well. I've like actually been looking up how to build team trial teams and like looking at the top things, and I kept getting really confused. I was like, why is Kawakami Princess in all of these? Like, I do have his card at least, luckily, but like why is she in every single one of these thingamabobs? And apparently it's because she gives access to basically universal golden ability, which everyone wants a piece of. But yeah. What else? So I've been planning out who I'm gonna run, who, you know, I don't necessarily have a grandparents for it, but you know, when a new event scenario comes, I won't use my daily borrows on that. I use my daily borrows to actually make good parents and then actually make aces. Ideally I'd like to, because apparently you're meant to make grandparents now for efficiency, then parents in the new scenario, and I'm like, okay, I guess I will. I don't know how I'm gonna get Umas down on a grandparent though. I've been trying, it's not working. But yeah. Apparently I'm in the middle of a scenario, I don't even know what scenario, and I think I'm probably training up Narita Bryan. Trying to make her a grandparent for me. For my Uma. Yeah, I don't know. What am I even talking about? Who knows? We've got about 2 minutes. I'll probably round this episode off early just so I can actually get to it in time. What have I been talking about? I don't know. Just like my lack of time to do things. No, what sort of through line do we have here? I don't even remember what I've spoken about. Catch games? I don't know. Just ongoings? I suppose. Time management, but that's probably it. Like time planning. Like, it's a very sort of worrying thing to look ahead and then be like, ooh, I might not have enough time to do these sort of things. Because there's just too many things going on at once. I'm pretty sure I will. It basically, it hinges on me actually recording 2 episodes today. One of a new series, one of 9 Souls, and then actually finishing off a thumbnail art, which I think should be fine. I think it's one that will probably take me like an hour and a half or something. So it's actually a lot shorter than I thought. And then, I don't know, any excess time, I guess we'll go into Animal Crossing thumbnail art, I say, knowing that that's not going to happen. And I'm instead going to play Uma Musume, probably. So, I'm going to round this episode off here. If you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.